Oh God, I missed it. Thank you. Good catch, Neela. I totally missed it. Even her speech and everything is being missed, but I'll have to start again then. I'll just quickly start. Yeah. So again, myself, Srini, we are starting the session today, session 4. The introductory session presented by Dr. Joshna, unfortunately, has not been recorded. So it's my mistake. I didn't press the record button. I thought I already did, but I did not. So the YouTube channel is here. You can look at all the past 3 sessions. This will be the session 4th for this year, calendar year. We will start the next session 5 will be into the next calendar year. Yeah. So again, this is the location where we are doing. So I'm very happy to be part of this temple to help in astrology and other things as well. At the same time, having this opportunity to be hosting from this temple as well. Yeah. Now, this is the agenda, the rules, ground rules. I have 2 moderators, Neela and Meera as well. So thank you to both. And also, please ask your question. Please think about your question before you ask. Yeah, because limit 1 question per person. And then once your turn is over, you can always ask later as well. But think about your question, which is more being taught today. I will, after this thing, post the video as well as the presentation as well, because the presentation has got a lot of key information, yeah, which you can use. That's the whole thing. Nothing is being hidden here, yeah. There is past 3 sessions of masterclass, which has also been taught. So you can also do that as well, okay? You can go and check the past 3 sessions in YouTube. Now, to start with, it's a combination of Vedic astrology, because Vedic astrology is it's nothing but Jyotish Shastra, versus the temple and the priest and all of them use the Vedas, which is called the Dharma Shastra. Somewhere the Dharma Shastra and the Jyotish Shastra will all meet. Okay, but you'll have to understand what each of them means, right? You have the 5 elements, the Panchaputa Tattvas, okay? Fire, earth, air, water, and space. What does all of this mean for a normal layman? What is a signification? That is what I'm explaining here. Yeah. So what I'm explaining here is fire. Fire expresses equality. So what is equality? Very simple, right? You put anything in the fire, it'll burn, literally. Okay. You put a log of wood, you put a home, even a home, you put log of wood, you put a dead body, it doesn't differentiate. So the Agni Tattva is associated with equality. This is what you should understand. So the fire signs, everything, it's equality. Okay. Earth element. Earth element is the Bhumi Tattva, right? The Bhumi Tattva is patience, merciful, being good. Think about the earth. It rotates 24 hours a day, right? Slowly. And as it rotates, it keeps us intact. There is seasons, you have day and night, there is all of those things happening. Okay. So that is what the earth is. Okay. It's about patience. It doesn't go so fast as what we try to go and everything, but it has its own speed. When you compare to Jupiter, for example, Jupiter rotates almost like 9 hours, 50 minutes, less than 10 hours. And Jupiter is way, way big. Jupiter is way big than Earth itself, right? So absolutely, you can see the differences as well. Yeah. Next is what you see here is air. Air tattva signifies purity. Okay. Air tattva signifies purity. Think of when an air has oxygen and carbon dioxide. Yeah. When an air has oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? You need oxygen in the air to kind of breathe, right? Not carbon dioxide. So you need purity in the air. Even if you have carbon monoxide, even if you have any of those things, you cannot breathe, right? So carbon dioxide is very, very bad, right? Same thing, water. One needs to have clear and transparent water, right? You cannot drink water, So the transparency and the clearness of the signification comes from the water. Now, in terms of ether and space, you look at the height when you're in a flight or a chopper or something, right? So what you see that is the height or detachment. So the Pancha Tattvas has the 5 significations, right? And when you learn astrology, when you learn Dharma Shastra, this is how the signification comes to a layman. Okay. Now, in terms of the Dasaavatars, here are some of the key takeaways. right? You have the graha, the planet, the avatar, and the karma. What is the learning and the deity? And I think I've covered a lot in terms of the Dasaavatars of the planet and the grahas. But what probably I would not have mentioned or covered earlier is what is the learning? Sun, right? Sun's avatar, Surya avatar belongs to Rama. That's why he's part of the solar dynasty. And he was born to prove the point that the the Sapta Rishis said that you have given the Vedas for people to follow, you have created us with Brahma, everything, but you've not taught how to live the right way as per the Vedas. So Rama's thing was, right, was born as a Maryada Purushan, we call it, right, was born to show how to live by the Vedas. So that was the first avatar to live by the Vedas and for world peace. Next is if you look at Krishna, Chandra, right, lunar Vansh, Chandra Vansh. His is about Dharma, okay, protecting the Dharma from adharma, okay. But he had also the karma of, being very, mother's karma, right? Mother's karma, being playful, because if you look at it, right, in, his mother was destined in a way that the eighth child born, right, for Devaki and Yashoda, right, the eighth child will kill Kansa, right? So because of that, Kamsa had to put them in jail. And eventually it was the mother's karma which came in again for him. But he's got that energy of being playful and laughter. He is one deity where he always says, even when I die, I want to laugh and die. So it's all about being that, happiness for everything, right? Mangal, right? Mars, Narsim avatar. It's about half lion and half human energy, right? It's the karma of siblings. Buddh, Mercury, Mohini avatar. It's about beauty. It's about intoxication, beauty, right? It's Mercury. Jupiter, Vamana. It's about a very small boy, and do not underestimate a person by the height, right? Parashurama, which is coming from the Venus Bhrigu avatar, right? Anger and father karma again. Kurma is individual. Again, it's Saturn. Then Rahu, Varaha, which is father side, again as a boar. Matsya, mother side, which is a fish. And Kalki avatar, which is also avatar, which is going to be associated with Ashwini Nakshatra, right? But it's also about destroying the sins and creating the whole universe with a pralaya again. And it's all about idol worships in this case, right? Now, we spoke about in the previous session about Rahukal. Here is about Yamakandam, which is also associated with bad time period and which is associated with Ketu. So it always starts at the sunrise in the morning between 6 to 7:30, and it starts on a Thursday. Can you please mute yourself? Yeah. Sorry, can you please mute yourself, or I have to mute everybody? Thank you. So you have how the Yamakandam starts on a Thursday, then it goes on a Wednesday, it goes on a Tuesday, every 90 minutes backward. I have explained the unit measurement of time in the previous sessions. I've just put it as a summary recap here, where what does a nimisha mean, what does a kala mean, what does a days mean, what does a human mean, 1 month of Pitrus, 1 year means 360 days is 1 year. All of these calculations, it's there. I have just put it to make sure that one important thing here I want to say is sun transit, right? The sun transit is very important for devas, right? Which is, we call it as Shankranti, right? Shankranti. Right now, as we speak, sun is in Libra, but not in Swati Nakshatra. It's come to Visakha, and it's now crossed the debilitation point. It's now entering Scorpio, right? Scorpio, by the time we hit November, mid of November, for 15th or so, it's going to come to Scorpio. When sun crosses exactly the last part of Libra from Visakha to Scorpio, it's called Shankranti, right? And here what happens when sun enters Capricorn, right? That's where it's called Makara Shankranti, where the day of the Deva starts. It's the Devas. When sun enters Sagittarius, it's called, Brahma Muhurta for the Devas. So everywhere the sun position is associated with the Devas. One important point as a highlight I put down in the bottom, today we follow in our year, which is based on all the Western stuff which has been done back in 285 AD or so by the Gregorian people, Gregorian calendar, what we follow, right? We follow 365 days a year. But actually, if you look at Brahma Purana, Kurma Purana, right? All of them says our calendar year per year is 360. What it means is if somebody does a calculation and tells you you are going to live 80 years, that means you have to calculate 80 years times 360. That is the total longevity and not 80 years times 365. So 80 years times 360 will be approximately, so every year, if you look at it between 360 and 365, there is 5 days gap. Okay. So 80 years means 80 times 5, which is 400. There is almost a shortage of a little over a year, right? Year and 35 days. That's the gap. So you have to know how that changes. But I follow only 360 days a year in my calculations of Jyotish. Lot of people follow 365. Lot of software follows 365. That's incorrect. Even if you go and read Surya Siddhanta, also says very clearly 360 days a year. Yeah. People may think it's just a gap of 5 days, but lot of things changes. Please understand in 5 minutes, if you're not on time to board a flight, they're not going to let you in. 5 minutes. So 5 days a year is still a big calculation when you look at the entire longevity. Okay, the Lokas. So here are how the Lokas are done. There are totally 14 Lokas, right? All the way on top you see is Brahma Loka. Okay. And then you have what is called Tapa Loka, Jana Loka, Mahar Loka, Swar Loka. And then Jambu Dvipa, which is a very known place. And then we have Bhuloka. Bhuloka is the place where we live today. Okay, this is Bhuloka. And then you have Atala Loka, Vitala Loka, Sutala Loka. Tatala Loka, then you have Rasatala Loka, Mahatala Loka, Padala Loka. Padala Loka is the bottom. And you see how there is whole thing is lying down like a snake and a tortoise thing. This is where the energy of snake and tortoise. So snake is associated with Sarpa here, right? Which is Adisesha, right? So if you see in the bottom also, you can see what is called as Anantasesha. Anantasesha is the one which is holding it along with a tortoise, right? A tortoise is also associated with Saturn, which is also associated with Kurma, right? So you have the Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn energy along with the whole fluid energy here, right? These are all the lokas. One of the things as you read and as you read the Vedas and the Puranas, depending on where your death ancestors go, okay, they only take certain things with them, depending on which loka they go. Certain people, if they go to the the so-called Swarga loka, they will be able to get in touch with you. They will have a memory about you, who you are, what is the lineage and stuff. But they will only remember limited things. Okay, the limitation is there in every loka you go. Certain lokas you go, they don't even access to your lineage, their lineage. They don't have access. They don't know anything. So the connectivity part gets lost. Think of in today's world, how many people have experienced when you go to a certain island for vacation, you don't get cell phone signal, right? You don't get a cell phone signal. Oh, my network is not there. I have to go, I'm out of network, right? Same thing. They reach a loka that they don't have network to their entire family. They also cannot remember things. So it's a combination of multiple things here. Yeah. We are going to touch this in depth, but I'm just showing you the lokas. We will touch everything one by one later as we do the session. Now, I have to touch this. In this lokas of 14, you have what you have not seen is the Vishnu loka, okay, which is called Vaikuntham. It's separate, okay? It's another loka. This loka is where eventually one enters. They don't have rebirth again, okay? In the other lokas you go, it's just a matter of time, right, where you're going to get rebirth. Now, Brahma loka is a loka where one cannot go just like that. Okay, you need somebody like a Saptarishi, or you need somebody like Bhrigu or Shukra or Brihaspati to take you. Otherwise, you just cannot go. Even for them to take you, you have to do like 12 years, 12 years of human, which is, I mean, not 12 years of divine. Okay. So, which is a lot if you look at it, because 12 year for us, one day in Devaloka of one day is 1 year for us. Like that, you have to do 12 years of divine or Devaloka years for you to do something like a Ashwamedha Yajna and stuff, for you to even somebody to take you. Otherwise, you just cannot go. Now, how do you enter Vaikuntha? That's what I'm going to explain. It's based on who you are, what you do. Okay. Vaikuntha is an abode of Vishnu, Narayana, and Lakshmi, and is placed at Shir Sagar, right? Which is called the Paramapadam also, right? And if you look at the 108 Divya Desams, the Paramapadam, there is one of them which is called the Vaikuntha here. Okay, so that comes under 108 Divya Desams, which is also called the eternal heavenly realm, right? It's the highest point above the 14 lokas. That is the pinnacle. And if you go there, there's no return for you. That's it. You're like no rebirth. Okay. Now it's the ultimate destination. Vishnu's feet is the potential abode, and that's where Lakshmi also resides. So anytime if you go back to the series one of masterclass I have done, whenever you go to a Lakshmi temple, Vishnu temple, right? The power of Vishnu is always in the feet. The power of Vishnu is always in the feet. Okay, that's where Lakshmi resides. So if you want to get the blessings of Vishnu, pray at the feet, focus at the feet. Okay, the feet becomes a very important thing. So there are four doors, okay? And of course, it says very clearly, Jaya and Vijaya are the two people who are in the front who guard the entrance of Vaikuntha. Okay, they are posted outside. They're called the Dwara Palakas. Okay, and what you see is also planets which is always illuminating with light. Literally no darkness. Okay, golden palaces, hanging gardens, fragrant fruits and flowers, there is no rotting, decay, or age. Nothing happens. It's timeless, to summarize. There are four doors, right? The four doors also is associated with the four principles in Vedic astrology, which is also called as Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Okay? So those are the four things. So what does one need to do to enter, to cross the four doors, to eventually reach the final point where there is no rebirth? So the door one is where Jaya and Vijaya is going to give you the access, and it's telepathically controlled by Vishnu. Okay. And how do you enter that? You enter that first door by one's own virtue. Who you are, what are your characteristics, what do you display? That is your virtue, right? Who you are you a good person? Are you a bad person? Have you done good things? Have you done bad things? Okay. The second door is not controlled by anymore by Jaya Vijaya. Okay, the second, third, and fourth. Okay, the second is actually automatically opens. It's like the sensor, right? It's the motion sensor, however you want to call it. It's the minute when one lets the ego of everything is me, I am the person, when you live in earth, right? When you let the ego and you believe there is a superpower and you go to that power and say that there is something beyond it, right? That's when things will, the second door will open. You have to let go of that ego of oneself. The third door will open when you just don't live for yourself, but you live for others. You value others, right? You think for others. Okay, like doing something like charity, goodwill, good work, right? You value others. Now others is a very, very vague word here. When I say others, it is just not your family and friends. Even beyond that, right? You see a homeless person in the road, you give some food, right? That is what others mean. You going and helping your own family, own friend, your own children, that does not include here. Okay. The last door is when it will open when ones follow dharma and truth. Just not being a Hindu, just not being a religious or anything. You have to follow principles of Dharma. Do the right thing. Best example I can tell you what is in Mahabharata, right? Krishna, right, gave the principles of Dharma there, right? That is what Dharma means. Okay. Look at in Mahabharata, all the enemies of Pandavas were non-destructible on a piece of paper. Okay. Bhishma cannot be killed. Only he can decide when he wants to die. Okay. Bhishma. Next, look at uh, Karna, okay, or Drona will come. Drona next. Drona again cannot be killed, right? Again cannot be killed. Coming from Gautama Maharishi, you cannot be killed, okay? So only he also can decide when he wants to die. End of the day, okay? And eventually, that's why Draupad got a child, Drishtadyumna, to kill him specifically as a penance. Karna, born with Kavacha Kundala, cannot be killed again. And so Indra comes and takes the Kavacha Kundala. And then Krishna blocks him to use the Nagastra. Krishna blocks him to do all of that. Parashurama curses him. Everything happens. Ashwatthama still cannot be destroyed by anybody, any weapon. Nobody can destroy him. Even a Brahmastra cannot destroy Ashwatthama. He's still a Chiranjeevi. You have all these people on a piece of paper. You have Kripacharya also, right? You have everybody on a piece of paper who is non-destructible, right? Yet the Pandavas fought and won the war because Dharma was on the end. And they say, wherever there is Krishna, right? Wherever there is Krishna, whosever side it is, there is Dharma. And whichever side there is Dharma, there is where victory is. It doesn't matter who is in the opposite side. You believe in that, you go with that. That is what it says the fourth door will open. Okay. Again, it says karma can only be broken, extinguished by rebirth and other than by being dharmic. So, dharma, following dharma is where you break the karma and then rebirth. Okay. Now, one of the interesting thing, if you look at it, you look at the Puranas, you look at the Rig Veda, it very clearly says Makara, Capricorn, right? Capricorn Rashi. That's where that it's the direction where you have Vaikunta. So again, Capricorn Makara becomes very important one way because it's an energy where Saturn and Sun meets together, right? Saturn and Sun. When I say Saturn and Sun, Capricorn ascendant, if you look at it, is owned by Saturn, right, as the Lord. And you have a Sun Nakshatra sitting right there, and which is Uttarshada. And the minute Sun enters Capricorn, we have what is called as Uttarayana. There is a change of direction of the Sun, which is going towards the north. And of course, if you read Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also says, right, I am Makara among the Rashis. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the next is we are going to discuss about is Sanatana Dharma, right? What is Sanatana Dharma? We're hearing a lot of things on Sanatana Dharma. Now, Sanatana Dharma is also called as Hindu Dharma, but in reality, it's an unconditional and eternal set of duties and practices, okay, of Hindus, regardless of class, caste, or sect. There's no differentiation. But today, if you look at it, right, politicians, politics, everybody starts using this word Sanatana Dharma in a wrong way, right? And end of the day, they're just playing this game. It's just politics. It's just dirty or cheap politics. That's all it is, right? But in reality, there is no differentiation. Okay. There are four stages. One is a brahmacharya student, one is a grahastha householder, one is a vanaprastha, which is like a forest walker, forest dweller, and the last is a sannyasa, where a point comes. So think of this way: the first 20 years you are a student, okay? The next 20 years you are a householder, 40. The next 20 years you roam, you do all those things, 60. And the last 20 years of 60 to 80 is where you kind of like, I've achieved everything. Now I will renunciate and I will go for the dharmic way. That's what it says about. So the pillars, right? The pillars of the Sanatana Dharma are the four Vedas, right? Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. And the six Vedangas, Siksha, Vyakarna, Chandas, Nirukatam, Jyotisham, and Kalpam. In the Vedangas, that's where you see Jyotish comes in, right? Then you have the other things, the Mimasa, the Nyaya, the Puranas, and the Dharma Shastra. This is all the Smritis and other texts. And then you have the four Upangas, which is Ayurveda, Gandharva Shastra, Dhanurveda, and you have Ardha Shastra. And don't confuse this Ardha Shastra with what Chanakya wrote. That's a whole different thing, okay? But this is the Ardha Shastra, which is originally from the part of the Upangas, okay? Vedas, again, are very, very complex, complicated, right? You will always read that the more you read, you will always realize two things. One is you will realize the more you have to learn, and the more you have to recognize, remember, and connect. Yeah, that's where the challenge is. Now, for the mass population, it is not really easy. Okay, that's why we are the Vyasa, which is the son of Maharishi Parashara, who also wrote the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, right? He proposes certain concepts and details. Okay, he gives the actual stories of why these things happen in the past yugas. These are true history, true stories. These are not mythology. Again, today, a set of people think all of this happened is mythology. It is not. It is really, really not. Okay. But this is how a common man understanding how things have been portrayed, which is wrong. Now, again, right now, I'll give an example. Would anyone have even thought how today a smartphone can replace or substitute a landline phone? You know, go back. I'm just giving an example. Go back to the 90s, right? Most of you, if you were born at the time and you were there in the late 90s, mid 90s, have you ever thought that by the time we hit 2000s, right, 2000s, 2010, right, that my phone will replace a camera, a digital camera? My phone will replace, for example, a light switch as a TV remote or a light switch or a thermostat. Nobody would have thought or accepted it, but that's the reality. But now I can go write a book and say, oh, it's a history, it's a mythology. It's not. It's the truth today. So this is where I think one you understand, when you interpret, these are not stories or these are not mythology. These are real things which has happened in the past, which has come as a learning for us. One of the big learning of the Sanatana Dharma principle, okay, it says anyone who follows the dharmic principles virtually is considered equivalent to a god or a god-like. Doesn't become a god, okay? Please understand this. Doesn't become a god, but become god or godlike. This is where the thing changes, yeah? Mira, I'll just take a pause. Any questions or anything, Mira?
So far, no questions. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, Neela, thank you, Neela. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
And let me know if you're not able to hear anything in this case. Yeah,
Sure. So far, so good.
thank you. I'm just going to give a very high level of the intro on the Vedas and the Puranas, right? The Vedas, again, are four in number. If you look back, originally the Vedas were actually one, okay? The way Vishnu compiled it. And then Brahma came and told it's very difficult and complicated. We got to start breaking, right? And then eventually became three and then became four. Now, the interesting part of Brahma again is, right, Brahma originally had five heads, and the five heads were also associated with the five Vedas. Okay, the fifth head was being removed because of the drishti of Saturn, right? Drishti of Saturn during the wedding of Shiva and Parvati. Okay, and Parvati reborn after the whole Sati, Daksha Sati, the yajna happens. She's reborn, and the drishti of Saturn comes on Parvati now here, right? As Himavan's daughter called Himavati, right? And then what happens because of the drishti, Brahma loses the fifth head, right? And now also they say that the three heads of Brahma, what you see in the front, is where the power of Brahma is. Do not even go back to the back and see the back of the head of the Brahma, which is the fourth head, which is also associated with Atharva Veda. And Atharva Veda is a combination of negative and positive things, but the fourth head of Brahma, which is in the back, which you typically won't be able to see, has got a lot of that negative energy, which is also associated with Atharva Veda. So Rig Veda is nothing but a Veda which is all hymns and prayers praising Vedic deities. And in those cases, the Vedic deities were Indra, Vayu, Agni, Varuna. Very, very little is said about in those about Shiva or Parvati or even Vishnu as the big deities. Because think of this way: you work for a company. Yeah, you work for a company. The CEO could be the CEO is the big boss of the company. But if a family owns that company, family appoints a CEO. The CEO still has is a dummy. The CEO is not the person all in all, right? The CEO still runs the business. Tomorrow the family can fire the CEO and put a new CEO, right? So the same thing in Rig Veda, the CEOs, if you can think, is Indra, for example, Varuna, Vayu, and all of them. The family here is the Trimurtis. They have taken a step back. Okay. The mantras for the rituals, those are the Yajur Veda, right? Now, for the rituals, a lot of the priest, right, they all work on Yajur Veda because for the rituals, this is also called Dharma Shastra. Then you have the musical notation, which is all the music stuff, which is song Samaveda. And the last one is anything with personal, social purposes. Even think of something like black magic and other things, right? All of those comes in Atharva Veda, right? So the first three Vedas, the Rig, Yajur, and Samaveda, they say that sun god has read all the three Vedas, and when he rises in the sky, sun god rises in the sky, he uses the energy of the three Vedas, which is Rig, Yajur, and Sama, right? All the three Vedas, Atharva Veda is not used, right? Atharva Veda, if you see, the Rig, Yajur, and Samaveda were put in somewhere in the axis of Cancer, okay? And Ketu was kind of put over there as a protector. And the Atharva Veda was put in the axis of Capricorn and Aquarius, and Rahu was given the charge to control and take charge of the Atharva Veda. That's where you have all the black magic and all those energy associated as well, right? Now, I also speak about how Vedas were not created by any human being, created by Vishnu, given to Brahma, all those you can read, okay? But somewhere the Guru part comes here as a very big thing, as a Guru Shishya relationship, okay? The Shiksha becomes very important. Now, Puranas are ancient happenings and history. Again, it's not a mythology, yeah? And Puranas are in the form of conversations between people which has been recorded. And they have five elements in a Purana, like for example, Sarga, Pratisarga, Vamsa, Manvantara. So Manvantara becomes very important because there are totally 14 Manvantaras. And today we are right now in the Vaivatsava Manvantara, which is, I think, the seventh Manvantara. Yeah. And then the last one is the events from the lineages, which is called the Vamsanu Charita. Yeah. So stage Sutta Pauranika becomes a very important because he is the son of sage Romaharshana, right? Who was nobody than Veda Vyasa's disciple. The lot of the Vedas and Puranas, especially the Puranas, if you read, Veda Vyas is supposed to be a reincarnation of Vishnu's energy. Okay, so it says very clearly in that, and you keep when you read a lot, right? You will read the word Naimisha, Naimisha. Naimisha is a very sacred forest. Okay, it also has another name called Naimisharnya, where Ramayana, Mahabharata, all of those things were come out. The Vedas, the Puranas, everything came out in that particular place. Okay, so you will see a lot about Naimisha coming as well. Upanishads are extension to Vedas, philosophical. There are 108 Upanishads. 10 are the core principles which forms the whole fundamentals for the Upanishads. Again, I'm just giving a snapshot as you go understand Sanatana Dharma, Vedas, and Puranas. I'm just because this is the history of Hinduism, the heritage of Hinduism is very strong, rich. None of the other religions have what Hinduism has today. And we have seen Mughals, we have seen people, British people, we have seen colonization, we have seen everything. People try to destroy everything, but Hinduism still survived and it's still up and running. You cannot do anything to Hinduism because that's the beautiful part, because it is so rich. Everybody tries to destroy it because that's how they build their own religion or their own principles. But unfortunately, I wish them all the best. Do what you want, nothing is going to happen. That's what I say. Even 100, 200 years later, people will understand. Look at even, I'm based out of the US, yeah. Look at even, for example, brands in fashion industry following principles of Hinduism. For example, there's a brand called Lululemon. Lululemon has completely built its own brand, right? Completely from yoga. So there is yoga, there is meditation. That is how they built the brand. Ayurveda, right? Astrology, all of that is so rich. Today, the Western world is realizing more and more the importance. Yeah. Okay. We'll come back now to the Vedas again. Yajur is sacrifice preparations, mantras, and hymns. Rig Veda is again where the sacrifice rituals, history, and the Vedic gods. Sama Veda is songs and prayers. Atharva Veda is like remedies, antidotes, even things like black magic or whatever you want to call it, right? All of those in Atharva Veda. Now, each Veda is divided into Samhita, Brahmana, Aryanak, and Upanishad, right? And then you have the four Upavedas, which is like the smaller Vedas, you can call it, or the Chota thing you call it, right? So Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Arthveda, right? Now, the key point is the way Hinduism says is if you have a question in day to day life, if you have a question, the source of truth for that is Vedas, not anything else. The Vedas has the source of truth for everything else. You have an answer today. Okay. You have to go and read the Veda and you have to understand and you have to decode it. That is where the answer is. Again, right? We spoke about Shiksha, Nirukta, Ardhashastra, Kalpa, Kanda, Vyakarna, and Jyotisha, right? So the Vedas take the precedence over the Puranas itself, right? When there is an unanswered question. Again, you have the 18 Puranas here, right? In addition to the 18 Puranas, right? You have the 18 Upapuranas, which I've also listed. I'm not going to read everything, but you can always go and check it out. Now, what is the most important thing is coming from Jyotish. I follow BPH's Parashara Horashara Shastra, which is written by Maharishi Parashara, right? Who is also the father of Veda Vyas, okay? And Surya Siddhanta. Surya Siddhanta is also, but Surya Siddhanta is extremely complicated and complex. It's got a lot of calculations, astronomy, however you want to do it. It's very complicated, but that's where the answer is. Now, the next one is our Hinduism, including Sanatana Dharma, the Vedas, and the Puranas, all talks about what is called as the Shodasha Pascha. Okay. And even in Vedic astrology, you know what is called Shodasha Varga. Shodasha Varga is nothing but 16 divisional charts. Same thing, you have what is called as a Shodasha Pascha, which is the 16 ways of puja. How do you do the puja? This is how a typically a Brahmin, a priest who have done Dharma Shastra would follow all these principles. Yeah. I'm not going to break everything down, but I've just put it for you to know, starting from all the way from Avahanam, last is the Nirajanam, which is with the water. Yeah. How you treat a guest. That's the most important thing. Okay. The next one is holy rites. In holy rites, they say there are 7 important things, 7 parameters, right? To do holy rites. When I say holy rites, what it means is penance, celibacy, yajna, progeny, shraddha, learning and teaching, and charity. Basically, eventually, all of the people, what in Hinduism it says is at some point, you have to figure out what is that end point of your soul, where do you want to take it, what is the final destination, and the final destination is always going to be Vaikuntham, as I explained before, where is the point of no return, where there is no rebirth. You go there and that's where your soul gets that so-called emancipation. Yeah, I mean, you're like the soul gets salvation and you are like freed from the rebirth, you know. Now, an important thing, I've explained this to before, right? An important thing is I've explained the calendar, I've explained the solar month and everything. Whenever you read the Vedas and Puranas, okay, whenever you read the Vedas and Puranas, they follow this particular thing as the month calculation. they follow this particular thing, which means if you go to, for example, Chennai, Karnataka, whatever it is, when sun enters April 14th, 15th, right? We call it as Chaitra Masa. But as per the Vedas, it's Vaisakha. There is a shift which has happened. So anytime what you see in the right hand side and everything here all denotes with the Veda month and not the Tamil month. Do remember now. So, which means let's explain today. Today, we know Sun is in Libra, but not in Swati Nakshatra, but it's in Visakha Nakshatra. Okay, as we speak, Sun is in Libra. And we know today, the date today is what? November 9th. Okay, so we are here mid my mistake, 1 minute, mid-October to mid-November. Okay, this is where we are today, where Sun is in Libra. Okay, the Tamil month is called Aipasi, right? But in the Hindu calendar is called as Kartika Masa. Sun is in Libra. Okay, so this is what is important. So whatever it says here, everything you follow this particular calendar, which is the lunar calendar. Yeah, because a lot of things you're going to see now, next certain remedies, what to do, everything is based on the way I've highlighted today. Yeah. Okay, this is very important. This is where the time period for a lot of things what you're going to see. And in this table, this highlighted portion is very important for you to know certain things. Okay. Sanctification after birth and death. So life on earth is like infinite times, right? You keep on burning, like birth, rebirth, like it's like birth and death, right? It tells you after the birth of a child, the father should offer oblations to please the gods and the ancestors after taking a bath. When a death occurs in a household, close relatives should take a bath and carry the corpse adorned with flowers and garlands outside the village or a cremation ground for the cremation process, right? Now it tells you a lot of things about Pindam. On the fourth day, you are supposed to do this, 10th day, 12th day, 15th day, a lot of those things, right? And it says very clearly an important thing here. 1 year, right? On the same day in subsequent month, oblation should be offered for the dead for 1 year. Again, the 1 year here means 360 days. Do note, and it's not 365/25. Okay. Now, how to please, right? So this is like, I can tell you, this is like a cheat sheet or a thing when sometimes you cannot follow very diligently, right? There is a lot of cheat sheets stuff given here. A Shradh carrying out during with devotion pleases the entire world, including human beings, Brahma, Indra, Rudra, Ashwini Kumar, Surya, Agni, Vasugna, Marudgna, Vishwadeva. So all of them come under the 33, one way the 33 deities, the Pitragana, birds, animals, reptiles, it does, and the dead ancestors as well. So it gives you timing. The moonless and the eighth day in the darker phase of every lunar month are the best days for offering oblations to the dead ancestors. Moonless and the eighth day in the darker phase. The darker phase means it is what is called as Krishna Paksha or a waning moon. Okay. Third day in the brighter phase of Vaisakha. So when it says Vaisakha here, what I would do is I would come and look at the Vaisakha month. Where is Vaisakha here? This is where Vaisakha is. I would look at this calendar where I have highlighted and see it's April to May. So you'll have to know this, how to interpret it. Okay. That's why I put the calendar for you guys here. Okay. And same thing, the ninth day in the brighter phase of Kartik Masa, right? As we speak, we are in the Kartik Masa. It says the ninth day in the waxing part. The 13th day, everything is based on lunar calculations, okay? The lunar tithis. Then the Ammavasya of Maga, month also, it's a very important thing, okay? The Ammavasya of Maga. During lunar and solar eclipses, oblation should be made with water and sesame seeds. Now, it also says very clearly if Satabhisha Satabhisha is a nakshatra of Rahu. Rahu has got three nakshatras, Ardra, Swati, and Satabhisha. Swati is a very favorite nakshatra of Rahu. I call it as the Mula Trikona of Rahu there. But Satabhisha Ammavasya comes, which means Satabhishan, and it is considered as an excellent conjugation for oblations to the dead ancestors. Moon and Sun conjunction in Aquarius in Satabhisha Nakshatra. That's what it means here. Okay. It's a very good thing again. Okay. Um, Bathing in rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, all of them also is said to be extremely benefiting. Okay. It is not necessary to show the great form. So this is one important thing as you read the Vedas and Puranas is even when you want to go and do this, right? You should not go in a very luxurious, like flying a business class, taking a limo and stuff. You should go as a very normal person, very subdued and go. That is what it says very clearly. The more you try to show your richness in the money and everything for whatever reason, right? They don't accept the oblations, the ancestors apparently. Okay. So this is something very, very important to note. Okay. Now, it also says if one doesn't have enough money, okay, if one doesn't have enough money, right, you can pray to the sun god every day in the morning, okay? And you say that, I need your blessings, I need wealth in order for me to do certain things, okay? So it also says that very clearly. People who are joining now, please, I would highly recommend if you mute yourself, please. Thank you. Again, one's ancestors would be pleased by one's devotion. That's the only way how you take. Do understand in Hinduism, the ancestors things plays a very important point or a part as well because they decided to have marriage, they decided to have children. That's why you are here, right? If they have decided not to get married, they don't want children, you wouldn't be here. Again, the method for oblations, right? One should feed the near and dear ones, learn Brahmins as well. Before feeding, plain cereals should be offered 3 times with the below prayer, right? I have put the prayer also, right? The Brahmin should be seen off with respect. All of those things should be there. And there should not be any anger or anything here. Okay. Again, do's and don'ts during these oblations, right? It says very clearly flesh of fish, rabbit, mongoose, hog, deer, ram, and cereals caused extreme satisfaction for the ancestors. But this was only for the previous yugas, okay? Not for the current yuga, right? And even if you eat meat or seafood for whatever reason it is, right? Do stop eating at least 28 days before and after you want to do the oblation, okay? At least 28 days. I would highly say do not eat meat or seafood at all, I would say. But if that is what your habit, I cannot do anything with it. But at least 28 days before and after, do not, when you're giving the oblations, do not eat meat or seafood. Yeah. Okay. For modern Kali Yuga, which is where we are today, all types of flesh are forbidden. Okay. Cereals like milk, honey, all of this is offered. Gaya, a place in pilgrimage in Bihar, is very, very auspicious, they say. Barley, wheat, rice, sesame seeds, peas, and mustard are very common cereals and grains. And these are the ones which is most used in oblations. Okay. Water used in ablation should also be free from odor. Milk of camel, sheep, doe, and buffalo should not be used in oblations. Before beginning the ritual, drive out the evil spirits from the selected piece of land. It should be cut off from outside influences through enclosures. So, a lot of these principles, it tells you what are not things to do. Okay. The appropriate time for performing Shradh. This is also like a cheat sheet in terms of Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, where is sun, where is moon, which nakshatras. Okay. So a person desirous of performing the rituals of Kamya Shradh can do on the following days. Okay. At the commencement of Uttarayana or Dakshinayana, which means sun enters Capricorn is Uttarayana, sun enters Cancer is Dakshinayana. Okay. At the time when Vyatipat Yoga takes place. So what is Vyatipat Yoga? Vyatipat Yoga, again, Vedic astrology comes in. When moon is in the ascendant, right? When moon is in the ascendant, or moon sign is 12th, first, or second to the lagna. Okay. Whatever is the lagna, moon sign is 12, 1, or 2. Right? Moon and lagna are close. This is called as Vyatipat Yoga. Next, it also talks about Vishnu Yoga occurs. Vishnu Yoga, again, you see Venus is in the lagna. right? Doesn't matter what is the lagna. Venus comes to the lagna. Jupiter comes to the 10th, right? Now, Jupiter in 10th house and Sun and Mars are in 11th house, right? So, Venus comes to the lagna. This is very important again, right? Because it's Venus is associated always with Lakshmi, okay? And Vishnu, right? Vishnu, if you look at it one way, here it comes where Lakshmi as Venus comes to the lagna. The minute Venus comes to the lagna, and this combination can happen, right? Sun can be in the 11th and Venus can be in the lagna because it's just two houses apart, so which is possible. But this is what it says about Vishnu Yoga. During both solar and lunar eclipse, when Sun and Moon are together, right, with Rahu Ketu, or Sun and Moon are opposite to each other with Rahu Ketu. If troubled by evil influences of a constellation or a planet, if troubled by nightmares, if somebody is not able to sleep, getting bad dreams, right, evil influences, at the time when sun changes its position from one zodiac to another zodiac, which is what is Sankranti, which is what I explained. Somewhere during November 14th, 15th, sun will leave Libra from Visakha Nakshatra, right? And the third pada of Visakha, and will enter Scorpio in the Visakha Nakshatra, fourth pada. Okay, that is Sankranti. Depending on wherever your location is, that might change. Now it tells you the various nakshatras. Anuradha, okay? Anuradha is owned by Saturn, okay? Which comes in Scorpio. Visakha is owned by Jupiter, which comes both in Libra as well as in Scorpio. And Swati, again, Swati comes completely in Libra, right? It's also owned by Rahu, which is a Mula Trikona nakshatra of Rahu, which is the most favorite nakshatra of Rahu. They are considered to be very auspicious for performing Shradh, especially if the day happens to be Amavasya, which means Sun and Moon in Swati Nakshatra, Sun and Moon in Visakha, or Sun and Moon in Anuradha. Okay? Sun is now entering Scorpio in the next few days, and slowly after Visakha, it will go to Anuradha. Okay, so that is where it says Shradh performed on such a day specifies the ancestor's soul for 8 years. 8 years it helps. So, this is a very important thing, right? For you to know if you have not done the Shradh, everything properly. So, what you can do is figure out whichever location you are when Sun enters Scorpio, Sun in Anuradha, Moon comes in Anuradha together, you can actually do the Shradh. Okay, and it will help you for 8 years. I will tell you if you go and do this, right, when this time happens based on your location, Sun and Moon in Anuradha, wherever you are, do the Shradh, right, with your key family members. See what happens, right, after 28 days when you do it. You will see a change, a big change in your family. Okay, the Vedas clearly says it, the Puranas says it. So I will tell you it will happen, but you have to do with a belief. Okay, you have to believe and do. Just don't do it because I am telling you to do. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Similarly, the combination of Amavasya with either Pushya Nakshatra or Punarvasu Nakshatra. Pushya Nakshatra is owned by Saturn, which completely comes in Cancer, which means Sun and Moon has to be in Cancer in Pushya Nakshatra. It will take time, okay? Or Sun and Moon in Punarvasu. Punarvasu comes mostly, three parts of Punarvasu comes in Gemini, one part of Punarvasu comes in Cancer. So again, this Gemini Cancer, this nakshatras is also says is believed to pacify the ancestor soul for 12 years now. Okay, so you see now the 8 years become 12 years now. Now, it also says some other days are which are considered to be very auspicious for performing Shradh are the third day of the bright half of the Hindu month Vaisakha, the ninth day of the bright half of the Hindu month Kartik. So this is where it says Hindu month very clearly. And what you see here is this is where the Hindu month combination comes. This is where I'm highlighting. Yeah. So this is what you have to follow. Okay. So, Vaisakha, the ninth day of the bright half of the Hindu month Kartik, 13th day of the dark half of the Hindu month Bhadrapada, and Amavasya falling in the Hindu month of Magha. Okay. Again, all of these months, if you go and see, right, you can see all the month which comes here, everything you can see where it comes. Okay. So the Hindu month of Magha, where Sun enters Capricorn, becomes extremely very important because it's also the Uttarayana. Okay, it's the Uttarayana where it enters this particular thing, So Sun enters Capricorn, right? Okay, so you should take a bath in a holy river, and Tarpan and all those things are also mentioned here. Okay, the next is Shradh Kalpa. Okay, the Shradh Kalpa, it speaks about the type of Brahmin considered to be eligible for the rituals, right? He says about the things to do, well versed in the Vedas, by any of the following, for any of the reasons. It gives you all the combinations within the family. Okay, so it tells you all the things who can do, but it also tells you one more important thing: the following types of Brahmin, even if it's a Brahmin, should never be invited at the Shraddh: a deceitful or a wicked Brahmin, a Brahmin who is a habitual backbiter, who is accused of theft, a Brahmin who has married a Shudra woman, and a Brahmin who earns his livelihood by working even as a priest. It tells you a lot of things. Okay. Okay, here I'm just going to checking the time. It's 12. Okay, I'm just going to move a little bit quicker because you can read it. It tells you about the number of Brahmins, the type of Brahmins, what are the things needed. Okay, so a lot of the people, the priest who have read the Dharma Shastra will know pretty much, but this is again something I'm sharing. But the key learnings is all these combinations of which nakshatra, which time, and when to do, especially for example, if you see here, the, the key learning is for 8 years, for 12 years, right? This is important. Which nakshatra, when to do. It also is based on where your location is, right? So you have to find that time period, the muhurta to do that. Okay. Again, the Shradh mantra, which is called the Rakshodana mantra, which is also called a Rakshogana mantra. Okay, so you can, the Pindadan is there, right? All of that is there. One of the important thing against you will see is like we saw Venus in the Lagna. You'll also see it says very clearly donating silver. Again, which is a Venus energy, which comes in here. Okay. All right. Now comes very important thing is called Vrata. Okay. But in the meantime, Neela, is there any questions or comments in the chat? I've not looked at it. Neela, are you there?
I think it's by Venus. It says, Srini, as you mentioned, stories are not mythology, but history. There's a temple called Patala Bhuvaneshwar Temple in Uttarakhand, where there's 33 Kochi gods resides. And the limestone rock formations have spectacular stalagmite
How many
figures,
gods? How many gods? 33.
33. And the limestone rock formations have spectacular stalagmite figures, the different lokas, the four doors, the head of Ganesha, Adishesha, and many legends are seen there. The figures don't need explanation.
Oh, wow. Nice. Thank you. See, the 33 Vedic gods, I've explained it before. Okay. So they are the combination of the 12 Adityas. So you add 12, the 11 Rudras, you add 11, which is 12 plus 11 is what? 23, right? 12 plus Ashtavasus, right? 8, 31. And the twins, the Ashwini Kumaras, the twins. Okay. And you add 2, you have 33. These are the 33 Vedic gods. So again, I repeat, right? The Vedic gods, the 33 are the 12 Adityas, right? 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, okay? 12 plus 11 is 23, right? And then you have the Ashtavasus, 831, and then you have the twins, right? The twin Ashwini Kumaras twins. You add 2, becomes 33, yeah? But thank you. Thank you, Neela. I've not been to the place, so it's in my to-do list to do that. But thank you. Now, Vrata. What is a Vrata? Vrata means nothing but a vow, a resolve, or a devotion, and it's a pious observance, like a fasting and pilgrimage. It's both. We call it as a tirtha. Tirtha is like a pilgrimage, but it's a combination of fasting and pilgrimage. Okay, depending on the tithi, the lunar day, the day of the week, the nakshatra, the month, the season, and the position of the sun, certain specific religious rites and ceremonies have to be performed, and these are called as vratas. Okay, it tells you by the tithis. Okay, so when sun and moon are conjunct, right, it's amavasya. Okay, it starts from Amavasya. So first day, second day, the third is Tritiya, the second is Dvaitya, right? Pradama, so Pratipada, everything. So it tells you each of the tithis from sun and moon, what are the vratas you can do, which is very important. Whichever one you want, you can pick and you can do, because based on certain things, it will give you who to kind of catch hold of. Okay, so that is what it is. So, for example, the first day of the lunar fortnight is called Pratipada, right? Pratipada. And the day of Pratipada is in the month of Kartika, Ashwina, Chaitra, or Brahma Tithis. It is then the worship of Brahma must be done. So, here again, what happens when you read this, the Kartika, Ashwina, Chaitra, right? Everything you have to follow this Hindu calendar again. You have to follow this calendar. Okay? You have to follow this calendar again, Hindu. Remember this. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. On the second day of the lunar fortnight, Dvaitya, one should eat only flowers and pray to the two Ashwinis, Ashwini Kumaras. This makes the supplicant handsome and lucky. Shukla Pasha, at the same time, it's waxing, right, in which the moon waxes, and Shukla Paksha Dvaitya in the month of Kartika is earmarked for the worship of Yama. So in this case, when somebody is having, I would say, because Yama is associated with death, when somebody is having very difficult diseases, for example, for cancer, non-curable disease or non-detectable disease, right? If they do some kind of the prayers in this time period, they will get some kind of a blessing on life, especially when somebody is undergoing, you know, a special disease or health issue, somebody is having the fear of death or those kind of things, right? It also says if one performs this vrata, one doesn't need to go to Naraka, hell also, right? This is also the day for praying to Balarama and Krishna. Okay. Now the third tithi, right? Tritiya in Shukla Paksha, which means sun is, moon has moved the third tithi, the 36 degrees, the 24 to 36 degrees from the sun. Okay. In the month of Chaitra, Shiva married Parvati, right? Or also Gauri. Rites performed on this day are thus known as Gauri Vrata. Shiva and Parvati have to be given offerings of fruit, right? You pray to Shiva and Parvati, give some fruits as offerings, and the 8 names of Parvati have to be recited. These are Lalita, Vijaya, Bhadra, Bhavani, Kumuda, Shiva, Vasudevi, and Gauri. You simply say Om Lalitaya Namaha, Om Vijaya Namaha, Om Bhadraya Namaha, Om Bhavaniye Namaha, Om Kumudaya Namaha, Om Shivaya Namaha, Om Vasudevi Namaha, Om Gauri Namaha. You have to chant 108 times. Okay? Right. The next is Chaturthi Vrata. Chaturthi Vrata is performed on the fourth day of the lunar float night in Shukla Pasha in the month of Magha. This is for worshipping for the common gods called the Gana Devata. Right? This is the offerings on this occasion are to be with wine and fragrant perfumes. Suppose, okay, an example is if somebody is in the business of perfumes, okay, somebody is in the business of perfumes or liquor, importing and selling of liquor and all those things, you can actually do this time period, use this time period to improve your business one way. Okay, perfumes business, wine or alcohol or liquor business also. Yeah, this is how you use that energy. Right. On the fifth day of the lunar float night, one performs Panchami Vrata. This is Panchami Tithi, right? This grants good health and takes care of bad omens, right? Particularly auspicious for Panchami Vrata are the Shukla Pakshas in the month of Shravana, Bhadra, Ashwina, and Kartika. Again, go back to that cheat sheet which I have put. You can use that to see when this comes. Now, this is also used for longevity, health issues, right? Anything like bad omens or anything like evil spirits, black magic, and all those things you can use. If somebody is not able to sleep, getting bad dreams, hallucinations, all those things you can use. Yeah. Now the same thing, the sixth day, right, is called Shashti, right, which is also associated with Lord Kartika, Muruga example, right? One has to live only on fruit, and if one performs this vrata, the fruits of any action that one performs lives forever. Okay, it's endless, right? And it tells you it's in the month of Kartika and Bhadra. Okay, Shashti. Okay, the next one is called the Saptami Tithi. Okay, here Surya. is to be worshipped on the lunar fortnight. It's a Surya Aditya here. If Saptami Vrata is observed in Shukla Paksha, all sorrows disappear. Sins are stoned for, um, and all one's desires are attained. So this is also the sins and desires, right? Women who have no children can have children, right? Including sons, if they observe these rites. So this is also a very important thing. If people are expecting a child, people want a child, right? You do the Saptami Tithi Vrata on a lunar float night, right? And it's a Shukla Paksha, so it has to be a waxing moon, right? The seventh Tithi. It doesn't tell you which month. You can do every month in this case also, right? You can pick any month for that matter. So you can also do this for getting, desires, right? Removing your sins and having children. Okay. The eighth Tithi, right? The eighth Tithi now is called the Ashtami Tithi. This is when Krishna was also born in the Ashtami Tithi. Okay. All right. But he was born in the waning side, right? But this here it talks about a lot. We will look at it. So again, the eighth day of the lunar Tithi Ashtami is significant. Krishna was born on this Tithi in the month of Bhadra when the nakshatra Rohini was in the sky. Okay, you would see very interestingly now. Some many cases you will have Moon and Mercury combination also coming. Okay, Moon and Mercury. Again, you touch Moon, you touch Mercury here. Ashtami is therefore auspicious in the month of Bhadra. If one fasts on that day and prays to Krishna, the sins of one's earlier 7 lives are atoned for. Why 7 lives, right? Now, if you look at it, Krishna was born as the eighth child. Okay, the 7 children were killed, right? He was born as the eighth one here, right? That's also the thing associated with the 7. Okay, but this vrata is to be observed in Krishna Paksha, right? And not in Shukla Paksha. Again, Krishna was born during the waning moon, right? Waning moon time period when moon was in Rohini Nakshatra in Taurus. Okay. Together with Krishna, Rohini, and the moon, Devaki, Vasudeva, Yashoda, Nanda, Balarama are also to be worshipped on this occasion. Since Krishna took birth, Janma, on this Ashtami Tithi, this particular day is called Janmashtami, okay, which happened a few months ago. The eighth day of the lunar fortnight can be important even if it is not in the month of Bhadra. That is the most important thing. For example, the eighth date of the lunar fortnight might be a Wednesday, Budvar, and in Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha, both. Right now, Mercury comes as the Hora here, right? Mercury day, and it's a Budvar. Doesn't matter. It's Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha, irrespective of the month. Such an Ashtami is very important and is known as Buddhashtami. On that day, one has to live only on molasses and rice and perform the vrata. So again, Mercury comes here in specifically, right, in this tithi. And where it says when Mercury comes as the day, right, if it's Ashtami Tithi and Mercury comes, it doesn't matter if it's Shukla Paksha or Krishna Paksha. Otherwise, it's typically Krishna Paksha. Okay. Now you can also read about the story why the Buddhashtami and the bull story is all down. I have put it. You can read it. It's all from the Puranas. Okay. Everything I'm giving is from the Vedas and the Puranas. Nothing I'm pulling it from Google or anything. It's directly I'm reading the book and I'm pulling it and giving it in a way where you guys can use it. Okay. Do not go and rely on Google or online sources. My guru always taught me that if you want an apple, right, you want to go for the tree. Do not go for a market or a marketplace to buy an apple, or do not go to, an agent or something to buy an apple. You want an apple, go for the tree. That's where the source is. Yeah. So that's exactly where my source is, coming back to the Puranas itself. Okay, we'll continue. The ninth day, read the one in the bottom about why Buddhashtami and how Moon and Mercury comes here in a big way as well. Okay. The ninth day of the lunar fortnight is called the Navami Tithi. And Navami in Shukla Paksha in the month of Ashwina is earmarked for the worship of Gauri, which is also a version of Parvati. An animal has to be sacrificed and offered to the goddess on this occasion. Okay, so today's world, what I would suggest is that you don't need to do an offering of an animal here. I would not recommend. what I would offer is you can offer anything which is an offering of the animals offerings. For example, a cow gives milk. Okay, so instead of an animal, you're giving the animal's offerings itself to the Gauri. Okay, milk. For example, a hen lays eggs, right? So you can also offer that, right? Eggs, for example, right? So eggs and milk becomes an important thing here rather than using the animal. But I have put it to showcase this is what it says, but do not give an animal at all. Yeah, please, please, please. Okay. The Brahmanas become all powerful if they observe Dashami Vrata on the 10th day, which is the Dasami Tithi, okay, and donate 10 cows, okay, 10. So the number 10 comes here. The 11th day of the lunar fortnight is Ekadashi for fasting, okay. It is also the Tithi for praying to Vishnu. The observance of Ekadati Vrata grants sons and wealth and atones for one's sins. So again, right? Again, if somebody is expecting a child, you can actually do the 11th day of the lunar fortnight, right? For fasting. Okay. So here it doesn't tell you, right? So you can pick up the Shukla Paksha here and do the Ekadashi Triti, right? And you can do the fasting and pray to Vishnu here for a child as well in that case, and also for the sins. The 12th day of the lunar fortnight is Dwadeshi. So any Dwadeshi in Shukla Paksha is auspicious for worshipping Vishnu. Dwadeshi in the month of Bhadra is for praying to cows and calves. In the month of Chaitra is for praying to the god of love called Madana. That is called the Madana, right? So um, that is where we call it in Hinduism as Rati and Madana, right? But in this case, Manmadan, right? And if one observes Dwadashi for an entire year, one never has to go to Naraka. And especially good conjunction in Dwadeshi in Shukla Paksha in the month of Bhadra when the nakshatra Shravana is in the sky, which means moon enters Capricorn in the nakshatra of Shravana, right? It's also in Tamil Nadu, we call Shravana nakshatra as Thiruvonam, right? Okay, if one fasts and observes a vrata, then one earns greater punya than from bathing in the confluence of sacred rivers. If Buddha, Mercury is also in the sky, the punya is multiplied several fold. So clearly you see when you are able to see moon in the moon's nakshatra in Capricorn in Shravana and you see Mercury again, right? It says the punya is multiplied several fold. Somewhere again, you see the moon and Mercury combination here. Yeah. Okay. The next one is Trayodashi, which is the 13th one, right? The 13th day of the lunar fortnight. And this ritual was performed by the god of lover when he wanted to please Shiva. This is the tithi on which Shiva is worshipped. In the month of Ashwina, Indra is revered on this tithi, right? And in the month of Chaitra, the god of love is again the Manmadana, right? Madana, Manmadana, right? Is worshipped in Shukla Paksha on the same tithi. Okay. The 14th, which is the last one, the Chaturdasi here, right? And then you have the full moon. The Chaturdasi tithi is earmarked for Shiva, particularly in the month of Kartika. One fasts and donates to Brahmanas and thereby attains Swarga. The Chaturdasi in Krishna Paksha which comes between the month of Magha and Falguna is known as Shivaratri. Then one has to fast and stay awake the whole night. Earlier, there used to be this is the story about the Sundaresana hunter. Because he performed a Vrata on Shivaratri, all the sins was forgiven. Okay. So this is where the which tithi of the lunar thing you want to perform, which one, based on what you want, what time period, everything. See, everything is so much to the details, right? Think of this way. If you're traveling from point A to, let's take an example, okay? If you're traveling from India and you're going to vacation, okay? Let's say you're going to Seychelles or Maldives or Mauritius, one of these places, okay? And you have a connecting flight. You have to make sure you take a first flight from wherever you are in India. You then go to another place, and then you have to get out, and then you have to change gates. You have to go catch the connecting flight. Those details are there: the gate, the connecting flight, all those things, right? This is exactly how it tells you which nakshatra when to do certain things as well. Yeah. Now, We spoke about the Jyotirlingas before in the previous sessions. Go, you can check out all the things here. We will touch a little bit in-depth details on the Jyotirlingas today. Okay. I'm not going to go complete details. I'm just going to only touch two of the Jyotirlingas here. Okay. But before I go into this, I just want to check, Neela, are there any more questions or comments in the chat section?
No, nothing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, noted. Thank you, much appreciated. Yeah, okay. And again, guys, all of this is recorded and you can go and check later. This is all available, in YouTube very soon. But being in live session, you have the opportunity to participate and ask questions as well. Yeah. So thank you again, Anila. So here we'll discuss a couple of things, the removal of cursors and stuff. And you can also learn how to use some of this, and which I will also explain. Okay. Here are the 12 Jyotirlingas, which I've explained it already in the previous section. Yeah, I did already in the previous one. I'm just giving a synopsis. I don't know, somebody joined. Can you mute yourself? I have to mute everybody otherwise. Thank you. Okay. So I have given the each planet, which Jyotirlinga, where is the location, the Jyotirlinga mantra, and who is the Atmakaraka in your chart, right? Will tell you whichever the planet is the highest degree. Do note only Rahu can become an Atmakaraka, not Ketu also, right? But do note that the Jyotirlinga's energies got all the planets associated with it. Okay, all right. Now, the liberation of sins, the Badri Shekshram, right, which is Lord Narayana plus the Kedarnath, is the most important thing, somewhat it says, from um, a birth rebirth cycle. Yeah, from a birth rebirth cycle. I have to mute, I think somebody is talking. Okay, thank you. So, this is from a rebirth cycle is the Badri and the Kedarnath. Yeah. Again, we've discussed this in the previous session. I'm not going to go back to this again today. It's there in the previous session in the recording, so you can go. But the most important thing is the 12 Jyotirlingas have the power to neutralize bad karma and lineage issues. When I say lineage issues, is not having a child, unable to get a child. Yeah, so that's a very important thing. Again, we'll cover this today. I don't think I've covered this before, but the 12 Jyotirlingas, Somnath in Saurashtra, Mallikarjun, and all of that is here. Somnath Jyotirlinga is believed to destroy the sorrows of the moon. So naturally, when somebody is undergoing a moon Mahadasa, right? Moon Mahadasa, things are crazy, things are hectic. Moon can be also very difficult, right? So definitely, I would say when you're undergoing a moon Mahadasa on a Monday, go and visit the Somnath Jyotirlinga, okay? On a Monday. And even, for example, moon is your Atmakaraka, which is at the highest degree. You should definitely go. And even if somebody has something like an incurable disease, including skin, leprosy, on all those things, right? It's a very important thing to go and visit Somnath Jyotirlinga. The next is Mallikarjuna Jyotirlinga Wednesday, right? For fulfilling major desires. For example, right? If somebody has taken a break from work, okay? Somebody's taken a break from work and you want to get into the job world again, and it's been a long time, right? And you're not able to get into it. So it's a major desire what you want. So go plan to visit the Mallikarjuna Jyotirlinga on a Wednesday, right? And go and pray, right? Or if you're undergoing a Mercury Mahadasa, for example, right? Having a darshan of Mahakal at Ujjain on a Saturday helps the devotee to fulfill major desires and achieve salvation, even if you're undergoing a Saturn Mahadasa in this case, right? And also you want to look for your job. You want to change your job. You want to go into the job industry because you've taken a break for whatever reason, right? Again, do it on a Saturday. Even this is a very good thing. Or you're undergoing a Saturn Mahadasa. So they say similarly, if a devotee merely touches the Omkar Mahalinga, which is also there in Madhya Pradesh, right? On a Thursday, then he achieves the desired fruits. right? Or you're undergoing a Jupiter Mahadasa in this case, or Jupiter is your Atma Karaka. Kedarlinga is situated in the Himalayas, against, visit on a Saturday, okay? Lord Shiva took his sixth incarnation as Bhima Shankar. So this is also associated with Mars energy on a Tuesday to kill the demon Bhima. This is not the same Bhima which comes in the Mahabharata. Yeah, this incarnation of Shiva took place at a place called Kamarupa in Assam. I think that's a spelling mistake here. Yeah, the seventh incarnation is happens as Kashi, in Kashi Vishwanatha. So on a Thursday, you can go and pray for again a major desires, especially Jupiter is your Atmakaraka, Jupiter Mahadasa, those kind of things, right? Or Jupiter is not placed good in your chart. Lord Shiva took his eighth incarnation at the bank of, with the sage Gautam here, the Gautami thing, right? This is very, very auspicious and visit on a Friday to fulfill the major desires. Now, also, right, this is on a Friday, but there is also the story here about killing of the cow and everything happens, which we will also touch very soon, okay? The ninth incarnation of Shiva was at Baidyanath at Deogar in Bihar. So you have to visit on a Tuesday, and it tells you about, the another story of the Jyotirlinga and Ravana and stuff here. Okay, devotees carry the holy water of the Ganga from the Sultanganj and the idols of Baidyanath in the months of Shravan and Bhadrapaksha. Right, this is the time period when it tells you to go and visit. The next one it talks about is Lord Shiva took his 10th incarnation to kill the demon Daruk, right, in the Daruk forest. So this is again the Nageshwar Jyotirlinga. The 11th one is the Rameshwaram, where we know Rama did all the work, right, in the bridge crossing from India to Sri Lanka, right? This is on a Sunday. So if Sun Mahadasa or Sun is your Atmakaraka, those kind of things as well, or Sun is debilitated in Libra in Swati Nakshatra in your in your chart or in your birth chart per se. Yeah. Lord Shiva took his 12th incarnation as Dumeshwar. This is the last one, right? So again, this is on a Thursday, Jupiter energy, Jupiter Mahadasa, everything on Thursday, you do that. And again, it's fulfill major desires. Okay. So this is like a high end synopsis of the 12 Jyotirlingas. Now, what we are going to see is specifically two Jyotirlingas. You're going to see what is the history, why did they come into existence? Okay. So this is Jyotirlinga one called the Trayambakeshwar Jyotirlinga, right? And again, it goes, Trayambakeshwar is associated with Venus. It's associated the planet Venus, right? It's associated with Nasik in Maharashtra. Okay. Again, it's just, you can go and listen to this my session in Clubhouse where I've also spoken about Gautama Maharishi and Ahalya, right? The story of killing of a cow. I'm not going to repeat it completely, but it was a big staged drama done all by some of these other sages, and Indra also played a part, and all of them happened, right? And they made Gautama Maharishi believe, Saptarishi Gautama believe that he has killed a cow, but he actually did not, right? So then eventually, even they pulled in Ganapati Ganesh in this whole story because all of them prayed to Ganapati and got a boon to do this story to a staged story to to play with Saptarishi Gautama and to move him out of this place, this forest. Yeah. So then eventually he went and started praying to Shiva. What he did was he built like three-course Parthiv Shivalingas, right? And he started doing all the work. And then eventually, what happened? Shiva came to him and he said, "You have not killed a cow. It's a stage drama, everything." But it was so strong in the mind of Gautama Saptarishi that he refused to even take his word. And he said, "I need your help." And then Shiva brought in Ganga also here, right? But even though he was innocent, he said, "I want you to do this for me." And that eventually, with Shiva and Ganga coming in, right, the whole thing happened. Now, this is if you have been associated with killing of a cow directly, indirectly, however it is, and if you're regretting it for it, this is the place to go, right? I would also say, like you saw recently in Tirupati, some of the laddus and stuff giving and stuff, this is where, and they use the cow fat and stuff like that, right? So this is where the place is to go and get the remedy actually, right? So again, right, Shiva established himself as a Triambakeshwar Jyotirlinga, and the Ganga here associated is called the Gautami Ganga, right? So, and Ganga and Shiva and even Parvati all said they will be here, right? And until the 28th Manvantara. So, right now we are in the 7th Manvantara, which is called the Vaivatsava Manvantara. Okay. So the sloka again, when you go there, is Om Namah Shivaya, Namo Triambakeshwaraya. Once you go there, you must feed 3 cows at the Jyotirlinga place and go around the cow 3 times. Okay, must be on a Friday only, right? And you have to go around the Triambakeshwar Jyotirlinga 3 times, and you also have to go to Ganga and dip 3 times. This is the remedy. Okay. Okay. The next is Jyotirlinga, Somnath Jyotirlinga. So the first is associated with Venus, the second is associated with moon. Okay. This is the origin of the Somnath moon, right? Moon-based Jyotirlinga here, which is in Somnath, Saurashtra, Gujarat. So the story goes to the Daksha Prajapati, right, who's got 60 daughters totally, out of which 27 was married to Rohini. Okay, I mean, out of which 27 was married to the moon, out of which Rohini was the favorite daughter or the favorite wife of Chandra here, Soma, who married the 27 daughters of Daksha Prajapati. And the moon loved the Rohini, so much, right? Which made all the 26 wives jealous and angry. And all of them went and complained to Daksha, right, about the behavior of moon. But Daksha has warned already the moon, and he when he gave the 27 daughters, the treaty which was put between Daksha and moon was you should treat the 27 the same. But moon did not, right? So what happened is, since he disobeyed the agreement which was put in place, right, and he started giving special treatment to Rohini, right? So then what happened? He got angry and he cursed moon to become weak and get devoid of radiance. So what happened? Moon doesn't have that light anymore, right? And moon doesn't have, this is where the difference is. When I say the sun does not exist, what happens is the whole solar system, the galaxy where we are living today, does not exist. The other 8 planets does not exist. When moon does not exist, if sun exists, when moon does not exist, no physical activity happens. Animals, birds, no lives doesn't happen. No reproduction doesn't happen. No gravity doesn't happen. No plants, no animals, no birds, no living beings can exist and reproduce. Moon plays 3 important functions. Moon doesn't have its own light even today. It absorbs the sunlight. So one is absorption. Okay. Second is filter. It filters, right? That is where the full moon and the moonlight becomes a very strong source. And third is it reflects back. It sends the light back to us as a absorbed and filtered light. Okay. So that is where, if you see, today's sunlight can create problems, which is called the UV, UVA, UVB, UVC, then the sunscreen and all those comes. With moon, you don't have any issues because it's a completely filtered light. Okay. So here what happens, the curse happens, and then what happens is, and everybody says that moon to go to pray to Brahma to help. Brahma also get angry, but then he cools down and he says that moon can only be liberated if he starts doing the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, right? And to Shiva and Parvati. Okay. So moon, then what happens is he says the mantra for 10 crore times by sitting in a posture. And then Lord Shiva, along with Parvati, came on the Akshaya Tritiya day, which was just the sun in Aries and moon in Taurus, right? That is when Shiva and Parvati came and asked him for the moon. So moon said, I want to be the same way as, liberate the curse from Daksha. And Shiva said that the words of Daksha can never become untrue, right? Or false. But he said that I will give you this thing of waxing and waning, that you will, 14 days you'll go waxing and then 14 days you'll go waning. So that is what the waxing and waning, which we call it as Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. Yeah. And then what happened? The Shivalinga, which Moon used to pray here at Somnath, right? That becomes as a, it's called as a Chandrakunda here, right? And this is the curse. So again, right, if somebody is undergoing a Moon Mahadasa, right, or Rahu Mahadasa, Moon Antardasa, or a Moon Mahadasa, Saturn Antardasa, or a Saturn Mahadasa, Moon Antardasa, or Rahu Ketu eclipsing your moon right now, right? For example, or for example, right, you have a very weak moon or you're born during an Amavasya and stuff, right? Those kind of things, you can visit this Somnath Jyotirlinga on a Monday, right? And you have the prayer here is Om Namah Shivaya, Namo Somnathaya, right? It's also the karma if you feel you have of a mother, karma, spouse, or father-in-law, right? This is where the energy is. And it's all the more blessed if you go on Akshaya Tritiya, right? Akshaya Tritiya, other than Monday, plan Sun is in Aries, Moon comes to Taurus, right? That is when Akshaya Tritiya comes, you can plan for next year. And also, if your Moon Nakshatras, Rohini, Asta, or Shravana, or Moon Mahadasa, Antardasa as well, you can go and visit this Jyotirlinga. Okay. All right. So I think this is kind of last, but I'm going to show what comes next is there is a lot of other things is like universal order about Brahma creations. The other Jyotirlingas also, we just touched two in detail. We will touch more and more as we go into that. Yeah. But this kind of comes to the end of the session today. Yeah. But I'm going to take a pause, and if there are any questions or comments or any feedback, I am happy to address because we still have another 15-20 minutes time, because the last time session we did went over half an hour, right? So it was also very, it went more, but this time I'm glad we were able to bring it back to the timing. Yeah. So I'm going to take a pause. Questions and any comments, please let me know. I'll take a pause. Or if you want to be a speaker, come and speak. You're totally fine. Yeah. Or you want to just type in the comments or chat section, it's up to you. Any questions or comments in the chat, Mira or Neela? Sorry.
Just a comment, very informative. Thank you. Thank you, very insightful. Can't wait to hear more about Kedarnath in future. And then the last question is, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes. So this is, so if you go back, I don't do many videos and channel, but whatever I do, let me go back. Let me go back to the first slide, and I think I probably put it in the last. So this is the YouTube channel here. You can go and check out the past videos as well, right? You can go check for this in YouTube, go check for this one. This is the channel, whichever I put it over there. Yeah. And if you're not, for example, able to access or anything, this is also the email address. You can send me an email and I can give you all the links as well. Yeah. So I don't really publish many stuff, but having said that, you can reach out. This is all the channel information. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? See, everything is, the one thing I will tell you to summarize is everything is sensitive in terms of when you do it, what you do it. Okay. For example, only when you are hungry, you're going to eat. Just because it's I just give you an example, it's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., right? And you are full, you cannot eat, right? So for everything there is a time, for everything there is certain things involved. Okay. Like everything is time based. Like you have a flight at 11 o'clock, you have to catch. So you cannot do some of these vrats or shrads and everything, right? As whenever you are convenient with, oh, I have free time, I can do it now. No, it does not work. It does not work. Everything there is a time. And all the time is based on sun and moon, end of the day. Sun, moon, and then nakshatras and rashis. This is where the whole energy is. Okay. So my point is, right? For example, I'll give an example. I saw somebody, was an year ago. Okay. I saw somebody doing thing for sun god. Okay, morning around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, a special for the Navagrahas of sun, right? At around 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, right? That is not the right time. The time to do for the sun is before the sunrise, the Brahma Muhurta. If you want to go to do special puja for the sun in a temple in Navagraha, right, for sun god, it is especially the time just before sunrise comes, right? That is when the right time is. But people are like, oh, it's too early in the morning, I cannot go. But no, you cannot do certain things when you are want, when it is comfortable. It does not work this way. It does not. Okay. So do note that at least, like if you have a flight, I'm giving an example. If you have a flight 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, will you go whenever it's convenient and comfortable for you? You won't. You will get up at 12 midnight and you leave 1 o'clock in the morning to catch the 4 o'clock early morning flight. You will do that. So same thing, you will have to do certain things also in these cases if you really want to get a specific result. You cannot do it at your own pace or comfort level, number one. Okay. Number two is you have to believe in these things and you have to see how to, align with the beliefs. Just because I am sitting with a mic and, and putting a video and stuff doesn't mean you have to do it. You have to personally believe in saying, yes, I believe, because it's not me who's saying it. I'm just a messenger here. It's the Vedas and the Puranas which has the information. I'm just giving it to you from the platter. That's it. So the point is, believe the Vedas and the Puranas. That's the most important thing. Okay. The Vedas cannot go wrong. And, I mean, you can read the Vedas, many places they give you for free, buy it on Amazon, buy it online, but you start reading, you will understand. But I will tell you one thing, the Vedas and the Puranas are extremely informative, insightful, but can be very, very, the right word is overwhelming is the right word. It's very overwhelming. And I say overwhelming because it's got a lot of information and it's also very difficult. One doesn't know how to use it, not to use it, etc. Okay. So it's very, you should know how to use it. And so my point is it's got all the information you can go and study and learn and interpret, but at the same time it's really not that easy, is my point. Yeah. So um again, this is the fourth session for this year. So this will be the last session, I would say, for this calendar year. But sometime during January, February, March, I will talk to the temple people again here if they want to do it here, or if I am not, if we'll figure out, I will do it from another place. But I'm very happy that, I do the astrology services for the temple for free as something which I can do. So I'm very happy to have even got that opportunity. And, so I'm also happy to host this from a temple because a lot of this Vedas, Puranas, and everything is also karmic one way. And they've got a lot of energy here. So I'm very happy that all the energies and things align. Today is also a Saturday, right? Which is also associated with Lakshmi and Vishnu. Plus, they are doing the Hanumanti inauguration as well. So a lot of people are coming in and going out from here, but in and out because of the Hanuman thing, which they're trying to erect a sub deity of the temple here. Yeah. So that those are my 2 cents. And again, I'll take a pause. Any questions or comment in the chat, I'll answer. If not, we will just call it for a day. Wait for the next email, WhatsApp, email, or whatever it is in terms of the sessions for January, February, or March of 2025. Okay, that is when you're going to have session 5, and I'll probably do next 4 sessions in the next year as well. Again, these are all publicly open available videos, so you can go and check it out. Yeah. So yeah. Any questions or any other comments here? Neela, thank you for your help on moderation as well. Much appreciated.
Yeah,
And
no.
thank you for all of your chat questions and comments as well, whoever participated. So I see Ritesh has already shared the thing. Thank you, Ritesh. Much appreciated. So, so again, right, all of these remedies, all of this is very, very important. Believe and do it. That's the most important thing. That you believe and do it, you will see the result. Okay, and you should know when to do it, the timing and everything. Okay. Okay, so that is the important thing I would say. Okay. If there are no more questions, I'm going to say my prayer and then we'll close the session for today. So just give me a minute. And just give me 24 hours time. In 24 hours, the video will be uploaded in YouTube. Yeah, in less than 24 hours, you will have this video uploaded in YouTube, so you can watch that as well. And also the link for the presentation as well will be uploaded as well. Yeah, so you'll have the link and everything together in the thing. Yeah, so if there is any access issues or anything, you can let me know. Otherwise, thank you wherever you're dialing from. Yeah, have a good day or a good night or a good afternoon or a good evening. Yeah, thank you. I will go ahead and close the session for today. Okay. Thank you, Neela, again. Okay.